In today's video, we're going to take a look at gold XAUUSD to try to figure out where this market is likely to go next so that you guys can profit from it, and we'll also take a look at the US dollar index, the DXY. Okay, so starting here with the gold daily time frame, XAUUSD, you guys will remember this descending channel that I had on my chart back here talking about the breakdown from this trend line, which we'll go into detail here in a moment. But I was calling for a move down here toward 1890 and then the move back here toward 1940, followed by that move all the way down here toward 1810. This is exactly what I pointed out in recent videos. You can go back here on YouTube and watch those, also in the VIP group. So we caught, a lot of this move here from gold. And then obviously since the retest down here in this area, we did get a very aggressive V-shaped recovery here from gold. Now, at the moment, the market has come into some resistance, and that's really what I want to focus on today. So I know a lot of people right now, a lot of traders are looking to buy gold, and I get it, right? The market has been trending higher for weeks, very aggressively. And anytime you get this, you do get a lot of people buying every single dip. But it's also important to look at the risk-reward ratio of any position and also understand that at some point, we are going to get a liquidation event. In other words, through this area, right? A lot of longs building up, even back here. This has not been taken out yet. This area down here has not been taken out. Now, this down here at 1900 might be a little bit of a stretch right now, but 1940 has yet to be tested as new support. And once again, you can see where we've got big green candles like this that have not been retraced, right? So at some point, we are going to get a liquidation event where the market is going to move sharply lower before potentially bouncing and moving higher, okay? So you got to keep that in mind, as well as where the market is trading in relation to support and resistance. And it sounds very basic, but one of the most common mistakes that traders make is that they're buying into resistance and selling into support. Now, the reason for that is kind of twofold. First of all, they may not know where these levels are. So you see on my chart here, right, it's very obvious to see that this horizontal right here around 1980, okay, this area through here is resistance. It's very easy to see that from my chart, but a lot of people aren't going to be that good at drawing these levels, so they may not even know that this level exists. The same thing can be said for this trend line down here, right? They may not know that this level exists and intersects with that horizontal level. So that's kind of the first part of it. The second part is that people see this kind of momentum and they think that it's just going to continue forever without a pullback, right? And that's just basic human nature. And again, it sounds very basic, but if you want to improve as a trader, the best thing that you can do, the easiest thing you can do is start to look for shorts from resistance and longs from support. I know that sounds very basic, but I guarantee if you look at your past 10 trades, you're going to find at least some of them in there, if not half or more, where you were trying to buy into resistance and sell into support instead of the other way around. Okay, so with all that said, guys, let's go ahead and take a look here at this trend line. This is something also that I showed before. This was the trend line that really allowed us to play the move down here toward this level. Okay, the breakdown here. I was talking about it through here, looking for that breakdown, which we got. We got the retest up here, this confluence of resistance, and this is the same trend line, right? Going back to 2022, where you can see that right now, this is serving as resistance here for gold. So in my opinion, I personally think that this is a terrible time to be looking for longs here on gold, right? The risk reward is terrible. You'd be longing right into a confluence of resistance. Furthermore, like I said, we've had very shallow pullback so far. I mean, this has been a very aggressive rally, and this right here is the deepest retracement that we've had. So I could be completely wrong here, but I think that at some point we are going to get a flush of, this low, take out this low down here, sweep the liquidity, maybe even below this level here around 1940, right? Sweep the liquidity down here before moving higher again. At some point, that is going to happen. So again, I could be wrong, but I hate the idea of looking for longs up here. Now, you could also look to short this from resistance, but one thing that you have to keep in mind, though, is that we have had very aggressive momentum here over the past few weeks. So any shorts are going to be technically counter trend because we've also had a change in structure. So notice back here for gold, we had the market moving lower, making lower highs, right, and lower lows. So back here, you could have been looking for shorts like we were here on this breakdown and again up here at 1940, and that was with the momentum. Right now, though, you'll notice that ever since the low down here in this V-shaped recovery, we have now seen a higher high. Okay, we've yet to have that higher low, right? But at this point, we do have a higher high. So any shorts here are going to be technically against momentum. Furthermore, you have to be aware of what's occurring right now over the past few days. So notice these wicks that have occurred up here, okay? This one right here, and so far today. Now, wicks like this tend to get partially filled. So just look what happened here on this candle, right? We got the long upper wick here. The market moved lower, formed a lower wick. That lower wick filled right here on this candle. This wick right here filled today. Okay, so a lot of times these wicks will fill because that's where liquidity is and markets seek liquidity. Okay, so if today forms a decent size upper wick, chances are we get another push up here tomorrow or maybe the next day, followed by, potentially that final move lower to kind of flush those late longs that I talked about. All right, so just be aware of what's happening here with gold recently going sideways. You got to be really careful because if you're trying to use a tight stop, if you are going to short this, again, not financial advice, you have to be careful because of this momentum. But if you are shorting this with a tight stop, chances are you're going to get stopped out prematurely. Okay, now let's take a look at the DXY, the US dollar index. And if you guys are enjoying the video, be sure to smash the like button and also subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon for notifications. And also, guys, I do talk about the VIP group a lot, and for good reason. I mean, one reason is going back here to gold, right? I talked about how a lot of traders don't know that these levels exist. Well, the great thing about the VIP group is that I'm in there every day, posting member-only videos, exclusive charts, sharing my charts, so you can always have access to my charts and my levels. So you don't have to guess where levels are on a chart. You can see my charts in there, which makes it a lot easier, especially for beginner traders. So looking here at the DXY, guys, and by the way, I will put a link up here in the top of this video. If you are interested in joining the VIP group, I am running a special right now, 50% off for lifetime access. So be sure to check that out. So looking at the DXY, we've talked about this at length, but you can see where, the market is coming off of 105.60 this week. A lot of people were looking for a breakdown back here. I was not shorting the dollar though into 105.60 just because I knew that this was a critical level. And this is what we've been talking about in the VIP group for weeks. So as of now, the market is coming off this level, looking pretty strong here to close the week. Obviously the market could, fail up here at these highs, right? But as long as it's above 105.60 down here, then I am technically bullish on the dollar. And as I've said recently too, obviously we have some resistance here to deal with either later this week or next week. But I do think though, looking at the weekly time frame, I do think that the most logical area for the DXY is going to be this candle right back here. And the reason for that, you can see this big red candle, we got a very partial retracement, but this area up here, okay, between 109 to 110 is going to hold a lot of liquidity. And once again, markets seek liquidity. So I think this is where the DXY is headed. I've been saying this ever since the DXY was back here in this area, right? We had the fake out down here that we also talked about. And since that time, we've had a very aggressive rally. So I don't think this is over for the DXY. We could obviously still have pullbacks, but I do think that 109 to 110 is coming within the next few months. Okay, and that's going to matter for gold because gold does tend, historically speaking, to move inversely to the dollar. Now, recently it's been a little bit different because of certain events going on around the world, right? Gold has kind of been doing its own thing. But also understand too, though, that the majority, in fact, all of this rally for gold has occurred when the DXY has been sideways. Okay, so October started right back here for the DXY. And since that time, the DXY has been completely sideways. Okay, now if you look at gold and this rally, right, this entire rally has basically taken place in October. Okay, so what happens when the DXY starts to rally again? If it does, right, in my opinion, that is going to put weight on gold to the point where we could get that flush of some of these longs down toward 1940, potentially even if we were to break that, potentially even down here toward this breakout candle and that confluence of support down here around 1880. All right, so just one possible scenario if we do see strength from the dollar. Just keep in mind that this rally has occurred while the dollar has been sideways. All right, so that's it for today's video. I truly hope it has helped. If it has, be sure to smash the like button and also subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon for notifications. And you can also join us in the free Telegram group. It's a great stepping stone between what you get here on YouTube and also the VIP group. Once you're ready, you can join us in VIP. Trade well this week, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.